Now let's turn our attention to Onelogix. Now the group offers logistics and business support services, including automotive and abnormal logistics. Now it has delivered consistent growth, and as recently as 2010 was ranked as the JSE AltX top performer. Craig, let me begin with you. As I said, all these guys are able to pass on costs here. Revenue was up 30%, and the headline earnings per share up 18%. For you, Onelogix, is it in a stronger space as Imperial and Supergroup?
Yeah, well, look, if we're talking on the logistics side, Imperial's, as I said, about 30% of revenue. Supergroup's about 60% is logistics. This is about 94% of revenue, about 90% of profit in logistics. And then they've got smaller things like Postnet and the distribution of magazines and the funny enough little panel beater and things like that. But the logistics side is obviously a bigger part, but then it's very niche. It's basically moving vehicles, commercial vehicles and normal vehicles. So there's big trucks that you see moving vehicles. So it's kind of a leading indicator in terms of vehicle sales. Now, I quite liked the CMH at about R9 a share, and vehicle sales thought would do well, and it has done well, fairly well, but I don't know how well it'll do going forward. So again, you've got to really ask that part of the market, what is vehicle sales going to do? But you're asking it for a different reason than what you're asking for Imperial and Supergroup, because it's not operating vehicle sales, but somehow because it moves vehicles, it's kind of a leading indicator on that side. So, so still very interesting. They've had 5 years of declining operating margins, but actually quite nice operating margins despite the fact that it's been declining. Yeah,
I was actually looking at the segmental reporting for them here, and on a revenue basis you've got automotive and abnormal. Paul, I'm going to come to you on the abnormal part of it. There's also retail, there's also media. For you, Craig sounds like he's saying he's not sure about really where this company is going. Do you have a strong sense of where they are going?
He's giving them quite a positive tone to his conversation from a fundamental point of view, and he's pointing out the linkages to vehicle sales, in other words, the actual moving around of the vehicles between the showrooms.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm moderately positive. I think it's been reflected in the price. I'm glad he went first because, you know, I often am very skeptical about small companies. This is a stock with a 400-odd million market cap. So the trading volumes are low. So it's not, in my opinion, the kind of stock that you can have anything to do with unless you know something about it.
Anglo-American, when it started in 1897, was a small cap.
In 1927, no, you're right. And I'm sure the liquidity on the JSE back then was also rather limited. But right now we have options. You know, if you like the sector, I'd definitely go with the index leader. And you need somebody like Craig with his attention to detail and his, you know, stock recommendation newsletter to identify whether something like this is, and he can only make those comments if he's been to talk to management.
Right.
A company like this could have shockingly negative and positive surprises one period to the next.
Yeah, when I look at the revenue side of it in the reporting period, which was the first half, that automotive and abnormal, I'm coming back to that abnormal again, up 32%, retail down 4%, and media was up 8%.
The abnormal, what is that? That's like moving abnormal loads around. So it's like Eskom's got a new turbine that needs to be taken down to the Medupi plant. Then it's that kind of thing. And they have the project logistics to make sure it doesn't crash into the bridge next to Ermelo, you know?
Right, right. Okay, so where do you stand on this one?
No, I'm not hot on it, and I'm not hot on it because there's anything wrong with the company. I just think, you know, it's dangerous to go bottom picking like this.
Craig?
Yeah, look, the growth has been largely organic. They're sitting on quite a bit of cash and they're looking for acquisitions. But in my mind, I can't see them making any significant acquisitions in the next 18 months, 2 years. I think Supergroup, Imperial are more likely to be able to bed down those type of acquisitions. And so from that point of view, I don't know where the growth's going to come from. I don't want to bet on vehicle sales improving, so I'd say not hot.